Alright, I'm sorry about that. I needed a thumbnail for the video. Dude, I got my lip all wet for that crap. Anyways, trade recap on how I hit a break-even trade right here, and then right after we caught a dub. PA was kind of shit today, same as yesterday. Yesterday was a no news Monday. We also had AWS services that had an outage. That's basically just Amazon Web Services. So a lot of big companies use them to host their websites and whatnot. And TopStep, well, any prop firm I think that was with Project X, their firms were not working or loading because of the outage, of course. And thankfully we did not give any A+ setups, because that would have sucked if we missed out on that because of some stupid ass outage. Dude, I don't even know what I would have done. Would have crashed out. But I mean, even if we didn't have an outage, still wouldn't have taken any trades just because it was so buns. Honestly, just all of October has been kind of buns. I mean, yeah, it's still profitable, but it's just really ass. A lot of break evens. Just really shitty PA that looks like this. Anyways, without yapping any further, let's just get straight into it. I'm gonna start speed run this. Get into replay mode. Alright, there we go. I'm gonna hide the drawings for now until we get to market open. So starting off on 4 hour, we are just looking at this, we're bullish automatically. Okay, we have all-time highs here. We have beautiful trend line, which you'll see once I show the drawings. We are inside of a bullish gap right here at 4 hour, and then we have a bearish unmitigated gap above us. Literally the same exact thing here on ES. All-time highs, a good trend line inside of a bullish gap, and then I have an unmitigated bearish gap. The exact same to the tick, bro. This is 8 to 9. Okay, so now on the hourly at 9 a.m. so far we have not one but two unmitigated hourly gaps, and on ES we have just one, but it's also a set of equal highs, and it is also a 15-minute unmitigated gap, as you can see right there. So great DOL to start off. In terms of hourly, I don't think we have anything else except for this hourly down here. And keep in mind this 4 hour is going to be important. So just keep that. That's a discounted 4 hour out of the two gaps that we had. Yeah, now let's get into market open. Well, first we have London lows here. Same thing on ES, London lows there. Not really much else to see on the 15-minute. So yeah, let's just get into market open. And we can go ahead and show the drawings. So before I show everything else, here's that beautiful, beautiful trend line that I was talking about towards all-time highs. So, all right, right before market opens, we not only did we have that great higher time frame trend line, but we also developed low time frame trend line right here as well. Great low resistance liquidity to target, which just basically further confirms my bullish bias. Honestly, you don't even need to target all the way up here. You can really just target towards these highs. But yeah, I wanted to see us, just because we had this generated, I want to see us dump, take London, and target these right here. And we run up, we tap this trend line, and then, dude, I've sent trend line like 10 minutes in the span of 2 minutes. I've said that like 10 times. Okay. Definitely could expect an SMT here, considering how low ES was moving, or slow it was. NQ was definitely a lot more volatile, already, more than halfway there to taking London lows out. So just want to see London get hit, and then looking for longs there. Now we edge London here. Okay, but we take liquidity right here. Go ahead and mark this out. Now, typically what you would want to do would be wait for this London to get hit, so we can actually make that SMT, and then this is also a session low before you take long. But considering how, I think this chair is so annoying, but considering how last week traded us, bro, which is basically just edging levels, bro, we, more specifically the equal lows and the relatively equal lows, they were just getting edged like crazy, and then we would just reverse from there, just be a bunch of bullshit. So just having that in mind, I was open to take longs here if we got it. Okay, we have a 1 minute gap, and then we also have this 2 minute, and I was praying that we didn't get it because I really did not want to take it. Thankfully, we did not get it. We end up dumping, and we actually do end up taking London low. Okay, we put that SMT in, as you can see, and great rejection wicks right here. So yeah, just waiting for an inverse to happen. We don't end up getting it. We had, I think, a 3 minute. Yeah, did not end up getting that. Now at this point, once we obviously are showing that we are not going to be rejecting off London, what I can expect is for us to come down, and this is like the last attempt that I would pretty much be looking to go long, is us tapping into this 4 hour, and if we don't get nothing from there, I'm just going to be done for the day. Yeah, we edge this 4 hour gap, and ES does take London here. What the fuck? That was weird. So ES does take London there. So we don't have this SMT anymore. We could look for longs here technically, but seeing just how price action looks, like we have this 5 minute that we fill completely. We respect it. Not only that, but we also have an SMT at that 5 minute. And basically the nail in the coffin for me to be short, at least, because I'm still bullish on the higher time frame, but at least in this small time range, I'm going to be bearish until we hit this 4 hour. So as I said, the nail in the coffin was basically that we had just edged this 4 hour. So it's, you know, it's pretty much obvious that we were just going to come back down and sweep this before we get longs. So ended up giving a 2 minute short here. Now I did not take this. I was going to, but just seeing the RR here, I mean, this is the only target we really have. Not great RR. Even if we do pull all the way down here, we give this trade no trading room. No breathing room, sorry, not trading room. What the hell? See, I just ended up staying out of this and was just waiting for this 4 hour to get hit so I can go long. Now at this point in time, I think it was a 3 minute. Yeah, so 3 minute we have here, just waiting to get inverse, and we kind of just chop up here on the 1 minute time frame, not really expecting anything, and then we come very close to inversing it here, and like at the last 5 seconds until this candle closed, we ended up closing inside of it, and then ES did inverse the 3 minute, but of course we take entries on NQ. So at this point, once I saw this, I was like, man, fuck this, and I hopped on Clash Royale, and I was hoping that we just wouldn't give it any setup. Didn't want to take this, and then, bro, after the match, I look back up at my screen and I see this crap. Now this was a great entry here. SMT at that 4 hour. I don't think I mentioned that on that 4 hour. Respecting this one, but we have an SMT with that discounted 4 hour right there, as you can see. Now, I did not take this one, but I did take a later confirmation one, which I'll show you just in a bit. But regarding this trade, because this is the one you should have taken, break even at this 15 minute unmitigated gap, and targets, of course, up here. Like I stated before, this did end up getting break even right there, so wasn't tripping too much about it, but of course, still we need to learn from that because we can't just make stupid ass mistakes like that. So basically what I did was I was waiting for this 5 minutes to get inverse. Yes, we did hit the break even point, and it wasn't unmitigated 15 minute, but I figured, you know, the DOL was perfect here. Like I just, you know, I have such strong conviction that we would take these this low resistance out, and you know, there's no other 5 minute up here. This is the only one. So if we inverse this 5 minute, I'm pretty confident that we run up from here. And so I did take my entries here. Stops were around at this body close, and went break even very, very early here. So here's when we get the entry. Okay, I think around here, 10:21 or 10:22, one of those. Let me check. Okay, so this is 10:22. ES takes those levels that I mentioned earlier in the video. We had equal highs, which is also a 15 minute and an hourly unmitigated gap, which is a great, you know, level that we could possibly reject from. So I went break even really, really early here. Within like 3 minutes, got break even. This point, not really looking for much until we dump, and then basically the eye opener for me was that the light bulb for me was that we, you know, just keep respecting this trend line here. I mean, look at this. This is perfect. And then to seal it all off, we have this SMT right there, which is perfect. And yeah, basically just waiting for an entry. You could take this 1 minute, but just considering how shit price action was just waiting for a higher time frame inverse, which would be this 5 minute. Now, in the meantime, before we inverse this gap, we create another 5 minute, which we actually tap into, and we have a 1 minute bearish gap right here that would essentially give us a Reaper model. Entries here, targets the same as before. Great RR, but the reason I did not take this entry and I waited for the next candle was because this next candle, which was gonna close in 1 minute, was this 5 minute. So, you know, it would be pretty stupid of me to take this 1 minute entry instead of just waiting 1 extra minute for that 5 minute to close for that extra confirmation. Now, it would have been a different story if, you know, this was the 5 minute close and we had to wait for a whole new 5 minute set of 5 minutes in order to inverse this 5 minute. Dude, I've said 5 minutes so many times. Oh my gosh. But just considering that it was just literally 1 minute until it's closed, was open to just waiting for this, waiting for us to get that 5 minute. And then we had a pretty good break. Honestly, not really much of a mechanical break-even point for me today. It was very, very discretional. So we have these set of equal highs that we just made. That isn't my break-even point. Just something I'm going to be eyeballing and looking out for. My break-even point was this gap up here, okay? Now, as this played out, I told myself if we inverse this gap, I'll then move my break-even point to be up here. And we did do that, so that's, of course, what we did. We ended up ripping through the break-even point. So that's where I moved my stops. And I'm looking to scale my position at least right here at this 930 high, okay? Main targets were up here at this hourly, which is the end of the, or the beginning of this trend line. And the hourly was just resting right above it. And I think my final TP was like up here, but this was my main target, final TP, and was looking to scale a little bit right here. And the reason why I'm so focused on this 830 high is because we came, of course, it's the market open high. And then not only that, but at this point in time, this is when ES took Asia high. So if you look at the 15 minute, Asia gets taken on ES, and Asia is not taken on NQ, leaving a crazy SMT. I should have scaled here instead of just waiting for this to get hit, knowing that ES took Asia, making that SMT, but I got a little bit greedy. Honestly, just a mistake on my end. And ended up, I did trail my stop loss, so I trailed in profit, so I closed at a little bit under a 1-to-1. But I definitely could have, you know, scaled here. I mean, dude, this was, look, we literally take Asia at 1058. 1058, we edged this high right here. Dude, I could have definitely scaled my position there instead of just waiting for this to get hit. Like, that was just honestly just straight up greed on my part, so I can definitely do better on that next time. But yeah, there's always going to be lessons to learn, always mistakes that we made. We're not perfect. No trader on earth is perfect. Okay, we all make mistakes. It's just a matter of how we learn from them, if we learn from them, because a lot of people make a mistake and just not journal, not go over it, and they'll just brush it off. And they'll just keep making the same mistakes. So hopefully this is an eye-opener for me coming into these next few trades. We did birth a win streak, so I'm hoping we can continue that. And yeah, all glory to God, of course. You know, blessing me with the wisdom that I have to be able to take trading like serious, because a lot of people, you know, want to do this stuff. They get into it, they never actually put the time to doing it. There's so many people that have asked me to, or just even my homeboy too, to teach them how to trade, and they ask for it, and then, bro, they just don't stick to it. They don't even get past the first step of just watching a simple YouTube video to understand it. Like, it's actually crazy. So I'm just very blessed that God has, you know, given me this opportunity to make this work. Yeah, enough yapping. I need to get this. Dude, this chair is so fucking squeaky. It's already about to be 1, so I need to get to bed. But yeah, great trading day. Stuck to my rules and everything. Everything went great. I guess the only thing I could take away from this was not being greedy. You know, I should have scaled here. So just basically just management of my trade. more specifically managing my take profits. But that's pretty much it. Definitely gonna keep this mistake in mind for the rest of this week. Make sure I don't do that again. But yeah, that's gonna be it for the trade recap. Enough yapping, and I'm finna dip. I had to take a piss. Man, I gotta go to bed, so that's gonna be it. Yeah, peace. Hopefully we don't get no outages this week, cause dude, oh my gosh, it sounds like I'm shitting myself. I promise you, I'm not. It's this dumb chair, bro. Is there anything else? I'm trying to think. I don't know if there's anything else I had to say. Any notes that need to be taken today? I guess just playing out the rest of this trade, because this trade did end up getting break even, so I'm glad I trailed my stop. Ended up getting break even there. If we didn't secure profits here, this would have sucked, bro. This would have kind of made me crash out, not gonna lie. Oh, okay. One thing before I dip, we have this 5-minute, right, that we tap into, and we basically give a 2-minute model right here. This ended up losing. You literally would have just top ticked in the opposite direction and would have got wrecked here. Okay. Glad I saw this, and I'm so glad I did not take this trade. This was also an entry that was at the end of the macro. It's also after kill zone, and I don't trade that time, so very, very thankful I missed out on this bull crap. Did we give anything else? We did tap back. This is 5-minute, I think. My mouth hurts from talking so much. We have this 15-minute gap right there. We did end up running all these TPs up here that I had marked. Very unfortunate, but you know, it is what it is. We live to trade another day. Yeah, that's gonna be it. I'm gonna go ahead and gotta go to bed and get ready for tomorrow. But yeah, pretty shit price action. Honestly, all of October has just been really shit. It's just been looking like this, bro. Still profitable on the month, but dude, this price action is just horrendous, dude. Sucks, but you know, dude, I'm just yapping, so I'm gonna end this. All right, peace. That's it for this video.